Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as Splyce and Fnatic prepare to take to the pitch in their third and deciding game in this series. Now, game one was explosive, heavily in favor of Fnatic, and there could be no doubt, but Splyce fought back, played it clean, had a few moments there where it might have been questionable, but at the end of the day, came back in game two, and now how is it going to unfold here in game two?
A lot of that unfolding will be decided in just the champion select. The blue side versus purple side the difference has been so stark here. Splyce got absolutely smashed kind of in draft and in gameplay game one. But game two, they had the upper hand almost the entire game over Fnatic, especially in that Caps just had no impact in this game whatsoever.
And it felt so bad to see a player carry so hard in game one or make such a huge impact.
Yeah.
And then not be able to do anything in game two. Now, consistency with the Broxa on the Lee Sin, that has been a strong pick for the team. I don't expect that to change. But already, bans coming out. Shen, Graves, maybe the Jace again, trying to limit what Wonder can play on the top side of the map. And Splyce just hitting us with the classics.
Yeah, the classic, but they pivoted at the end. They decided to not ban Camille. I think they will this time, though.
I'd like to see a Camille. I mean, technically I wouldn't like to see a Camille ban because I love watching Camille, but I think it makes sense to take the Camille off.
It would be
the board.
advised for Splyce to at least put up a better effort.
There you go.
It's not that you can't leave it open. It is technically possible. It just becomes a much higher risk here.
Well, one thing that Splyce were not willing to risk in the past was the bars. It's up. It's available now for Fnatic. If they prioritize this 80 carry, it's easy for Splyce to respond, to take the other 80 carry away, and it is going to be what they opt for.
Yeah. I would actually like to see a Ryze third pick purple side or red side for Splyce and just pick maybe not the jungler because they haven't really been prioritizing jungler too much. They're actually switching it up. Okay. You can't do this if you don't care about support or AD carry, and you're fine kind of playing lower tier champions, but I would love to see the early Ryze come out and just then ban out the counter champions and then have a strong champion on Senkooks.
And when we look at it too, this really hasn't been a story of the bottom lane. Even with the advantages Fnatic found last game, it didn't work out for them. We haven't seen the hard carry potential come from the bot lane quite yet, but once again, Fnatic's focus remains on getting their solo lane or their bot lane earlier.
Yeah, with the Karma, so they're just going for kind of push city here, forcing Splyce to then match up, because Karma into with two bad matchups banned out will be make it so that you just get pushed regardless. But if you're Splyce, you don't pick support. Of course, match AD carry if you're worried about this lane. But now Trashy rather needs to make something happen here because he gets an early priority pick on the Kha'Zix. He has failed in the past on these aggressive junglers.
Of course, it's not as easy as it once was to find success on the Kha'Zix either. He's fallen down the jungle tree a little bit, nursed the Q, the isolated AD ratio, as well as the cooldown reduction you get for fighting targets. Means it's not quite as comfortable for you to 1v1. No longer is it quite that highlight montage of just one queuing your way through the
in the duel against Lee Sin in particular, it just all depends on who gets the jump. But even then, Kha'Zix can still win, so Kha'Zix definitely has a solid shot. It all depends on the amount of information. Now, you get information by playing around pushing lanes, though, and Fnatic have already drafted a lane that will, regardless of what Mickey X picks up, push for the side of Fnatic.
Interesting that they take the Bard off the table. It has historically been a big playmaking support for Mickey. That Splyce have won games on the back of some of his tempered fates, but not something we've seen focused away very much.
It is just quite good against Varus as well, because when he's charging his arrow, it's impossible for him to dodge tempered fate on 6 in lane. Combine that with Trashy. I wouldn't draft it here personally, but you never know, Mickey.
Interesting as well, Malzahar taking away stops Splyce from building that same composition where they can single out an enemy target, where they can lock one person down to start a fight. And additionally, 2 tanks banned away from the side of Splyce means it's going to be a little bit more difficult for Soaz to find that matchup where he will be comfortable.
Yeah, you can go for the rough matchup in Poppy, but we might actually see the Rumble Fiora matchup come out here. That would be super interesting.
Exciting to see. Interesting pickup coming in from Mickey. Really, once again, saving the last pick for mid. Want Senkooks to be comfortable.
Is rough, though. It's a skill matchup that is like 35-65, where if you misplay once and you do one bad hook, you get punished incredibly hard. However, you can, if you can lock down Reckless with Flay into hook, and maybe Trashy visits, you can smash this lane as well. Because when Trash spirals ahead, with the level advantage, you can punish this bot lane really hard. Problem is, it's so unlikely for that to happen.
And once again, is bottom lane going to be the center of attention for Trash? Is it going to be top lane this time around, or mid lane as well, as the Ryze has been locking for Caps, and we saw exactly how lethal he can be and how successful Broxa was in finding ganks there in the early game in our first match.
Yeah, if you're Splyce here though, I think you don't go for the conventional Cassiopeia, I think you rather would get like an Orianna. Ooh.
This was the wonder special for that small period of time, and he's already played one game on it this season, but now it's being picked up by Soaz, and a bit of a surprise here. And Fnatic, I feel like very standard draft up until that final pick.
Up until the Glad pick, but yeah, they were squeezed though, so they got all these standard picks because they were heavily pinched in the top lane and they were forced to adapt. And I like this, just like more, wave clear and mobility on this mid pick as well from the Corki, and then the ability to influence the side lanes and then just play away from the Rise. So good package usage could open the map, but Splyce here, 5 squishy champions here, no real tank. Incredibly hard to play Thresh without any frontline tanks, because any overextension means you death. You stand still, you hook, you essentially CC yourself. So Mickey, and he has had a tendency in the past when 1 death happens and 2 deaths happen, that many more will follow suit. So we need to follow him in this game, how he does on this Thresh pick.
Yeah, absolutely cannot afford to make those mistakes, especially since he's already been picked, as you said, into that losing matchup. And additionally, when we look at the formula for success that came in for Fnatic in Game 1, it was snowballing picks in top lane, in mid lane. It was Broxah making the plays, and they've set themselves up to do that one more time.
Trashy does not have time to play around bot lane because he will need to help Wunder in the top lane. No gap closer versus this Kled, and the massive mobility boon that both Kled and Lee Sin bring to the top lane, or even a setup that they can do in the mid lane again where Caps can snare into Lee Sin Q. That is where Broxah will be honestly spending all his attention, and that's why it's similar to Game 1. Fnatic had a perma-push bot lane with super gankable lanes plus Lee Sin in the top and mid lane. That was their recipe for success. Can Splyce fight back?
Can they not give up so much, too, as we look forward? This is it, ladies and gentlemen. Your last chance. Head over to Twitter. Vote at LO Esports. Hashtag SPY win. Hashtag FNC win. The Splyce fans ran out last time, but who will win out in this final game? Everything on the line here for both these squads. Determined to pull out of the middle of the pack. Determined to find a clean win here in cross-group play.
Yeah, if we had to guess, based on the drafts, both are definitely playable. Snowball-y. Fnatic seem more comfortable on their champions, I feel. So I think Fnatic actually have the edge in here. Not because their draft is necessarily better, but because it maybe suits their style just a tad better.
I'm ready, Crepo. I want to see, is it going to be the bloody early game? Are Splyce going to be able to stall it out? Because we saw Game 2, the goal difference is essentially non-existent.
I mean, Splyce do not need to stall it out. They want it to be bloody. They just want the blood to be shed by their opponents and not themselves.
I'm nervous for their chances, but it feels like, once again, it could all come down to a single early gank, whether it's the Kha'Zix or the Lee Sin that reigns supreme that comes out on top.
Yeah, both these mid laners have the ability to kind of force an already cracking lane to crack more under pressure by leaving, whether it's the package or the Rise ultimate.
There's a bear trap on a rope. They're not going to connect in the end, and this is a top lane matchup that we never see, I would almost venture to say. I
mean, barely, yeah. There's when Kled came out, there was whispers and rumors of people playing them, but nobody was too good at making it happen. It requires some team synergy, and there are plays you can make around his ultimate if you really play around the draft that it gives. Like the actual definition, like the wind that it kind of creates that you can then run into.
The movement speed steroid.
Yeah, really big movement speed steroid.
And the other thing too is that so often that when people were theory crafting Kled, the counter was to just, you put a tank in front of it and he hits the tank. But there's no tanky member on the side of Splyce. Thresh is the closest thing you had, and you already mentioned when he gets caught out, it's all too easy to collapse. But the aggression already comes out here in bottom lane, and despite the karma, Splyce are not willing to give up the push.
Yeah, very interesting. If you look at the amount of information given away, both teams tell each other that they start on the top side of the map. Both junglers pathing down to the bottom side, so while we expected more pressure to be put on the top side, barring any 3-cam cheese top gank, this is going to end up having the junglers meet in the river at the Scuttle Crab.
So now Wunder winning when it comes to the push, but Soaz doing a lot of damage with the base ratios there.
Yeah, he's obviously happy. Both junglers start topside, so these guys are going to be happy trading. Early push should be on the side of the Rumble, of course.
And I feel like we're so used so long for the tanks fighting back and forth, and now there's so much more all-in potential on both sides here. Mid lane, though, of course, not going to be the control mages.
Interesting
be aggressive as well.
Interesting that Caps decided to ward there. So he knows Kha'Zix started on red. He knows Kha'Zix doesn't even have that sustain of a clear, and he decided to ward his left side. I guess he just wants to lean left and then have safety in the brush. Because even if you lean left and there's a ward on the right side, you technically you can get surprised. But even then, I don't like the ward from Cap so much.
Small thing. We'll see if he gets punished for it, as Kabi's getting very punished in this trade. Fails to sidestep the piercing arrow, and that is a big difference.
He went for the greedy play where you dodge into the lane, so he took 2 extra cannon shots while trying to juke. A really good arrow there from Rekkles, and it shows you just, if this hook doesn't land on level 2, and even if it does, like, it is so hard to play this matchup because the pressure will always be on Varus and Karma.
And we saw too, I mean, he has the luxury of holding the arrow. He can wait to see where he's going to juke, where he's going to dodge. He has so much time, and the longer it takes for Kabi to make a decision, the more damage he takes from the creeps, the more damage he takes from that Karma. And I feel bad for these guys that they have to play out this early laning phase. The CS is fine, but the trade's so clearly in favor of Fnatic.
And you say it right there, the CS is fine, and that's all that matters really, because this lane won't get too much turret damage done early on. So in that sense, if they can push out this wave and base, Splyce are happy campers, because they get the serrated Dirk very early on.
Of course, the difference there is that the Doran's blade comes out for Rekkles, so he needs more creeps, more gold in that inventory to get the 1100 necessary for serrated Dirk.
But yeah, the key matchup still, the one that snowballed early on in Game 1 and now also in Game 2, is this top lane matchup.
38.7, courtesy of the Gangplank, courtesy of the turnaround in the Baron pit. No longer the Gangplank, but the Rumble could be equally impactful.
And Thrash is here. He's in the top lane, shadowing this lane, so he doesn't want the same thing to happen. Looking for Lee Sin, and again, it all depends on who gets a jump.
Can line up the key wards, place.
Synchronized warding, 10 out of 10.
Look at the synergy across teams, Greppo. Sonic Blade gives sight, but does burn that cooldown. No follow-up going to come in from Trashy. Smite comes out from Broxy, secures it in the end, and the slow, patient play here, I feel like, just shows us how a little advantage can turn this game around instantly. Neither team wants to commit and be the guy who makes a mistake.
I like the stuff from Broxy, a really confident play. So not only does he solidify River Vision, he then invades and challenges Trashy and basically kind of robs stuff away from under his nose. Really like the confidence that Broxy is playing with, because now his 2 solo laners that need to carry the game have supplementary vision, and he revealed the enemy jungle for quite a while, so this is great for Fnatic.
Exactly what they wanted. Trashy here to shadow Senkux to allow him to push the lane forward. Cap's going to clear the wave out quite easily, however. Does have his tier as well, so really no pressure for him to back out.
Yeah, always snuck a base somewhere earlier on. Looking to keep that wave. Look, just parks it, makes the meeting point slightly more towards his turret, so he can never truly get rolled or ganked on. Now Mickey going for a roll.
Splyce have the vision.
Broxy needs to be careful.
Lee Sin is here as well. Gonna spot them both out. Sonic Wave will reveal the plan here. Kabi not gonna lose anything on the bottom side as Fnatic have back. Splyce look to find an opening, but nothing's gonna come from it.
Yeah. And Fnatic bot lane playing pretty passive here. Going for the Ruby, not the tier 2 that we're so used to seeing. I know this is kind of a point overly repeated, but we want to see how Jesus does it in different scenarios. Once we're ahead, behind, and now even. Again, going for a faster side zone. Fnatic have identified that early vision was part of the reason they were falling behind.
Not going to be the issue here, though, as you mentioned. Already comfortable to move towards that. Willing to give up some small advantages in lane. Willing to put vision ahead of the damage output.
First teleport gets used by Soas. He goes top. Wunder still has his. Wunder still hasn't based, though. This is a crucial point here. So Soas very happy that he gets his exact base timing. Hex Drinker on the mark plus control wards is definitely what you want in this matchup.
Nice pulls back 2 at low health after clearing the wave. Heals up so he does not get dismounted. Can be disastrous. It's almost impossible to get back on against the Rumble. No way to approach the creep wave. No way to really effectively use the pocket pistol to regain that courage.
And now Caps. Is he looking to make the same play that he did in Game 1? Because it technically works against the Rumble. As long as you have flash to get out of the equalizer, this guy is really squishy.
And remember, Soas gets a massive shield when he wants to move forward, when he wants to charge. So yes, there's the insane Rumble damage, but they do have tools to deal with it.
Well, Senkix hasn't based yet. This is actually... It might be rough, because what this is going to do is, like, Senkix won't get punished, but Caps and Broxy actually now have a window to roam top, if they want to punish this base from Senkix. And I think package spawns at 8 minutes. So there's no package just yet for Senkix. He may as well have delayed his base one more wave.
Does get the Sheen, though, so will be more comfortable trading, but not going to line up well with the package. Not going to offer more of a global threat as they move forward. Rise going to get donated the blue buff. Bot lane, surprisingly, even small advantage going over to Kabi. Good thing to see this early on, especially when we kind of praise the Karma. as this absolute end-all be-all of sort of lane bull.
Yeah, they couldn't break open the matchup as you would traditionally in a Dorans versus Dorans because of the longsword 3 pots. And now Kabe and Mickey actually much more comfortable on 6. They have much more damage and ample opportunity to fight back. And Karma obviously falls off at 6.
No damage comes from the ult. Not going to be an issue there for the Corki.
Oh, here we go.
So
Flood, baby.
Forward. Trashy going to look to body block. Forced to target onto him. Bear Trap on a rope comes in. Wonder knocking him down. So I was trying to dash out. Joust to safety. Then comes Broxa. Out goes Fnatic. Nice response coming in from Splyce.
I wonder if that was intentional by Trashy or not, because it felt like he was trying to get away, and then he realized, oh, I can drag this guy under turret. So
Interesting too. Stealth breaks it as well. I'm not sure if it breaks it after it's targeted. I'd have to look at it more, but I know Stealth breaks it if you on the approach. See if we can bait
hard
so as
to
into
lock
towers.
hard to lock onto targets if you can't see them.
I've heard that. I prefer the like AoE champion strategy where you just throw AoE in their
general direction.
Yeah.
You must be here somewhere.
Kind of just close your eyes and open up, sort of thing.
I mean, it works against most invisible champions because they actually leave a little trail now in the
I love that.
the fog to indicate whether you hit it or not. Trashy is this is where you realize you're a jungle slave. You may as well roll.
You're the Kazakhs. You can carry. Take it for your.
The fact that not only does this mid laner make you like give up your blue buff,
It's like you wait.
you have to stand there, wait in submission. It's like, yeah, get hit one more time. Yeah, that's it.
You're going back. You don't need that health.
Know your place, Kazakhs. And Senkox goes back to
Oh,
base.
trackers too.
Yeah.
It's a dark time for Kazakhs players out there, man.
Back in my day, we would red
Do you remember 2 patches ago
when we
you
could
just
red smite, take all the buffs? But then this Ivor champion popped up, and suddenly mid laners got all these blue buffs really early on.
Silly champion. No one likes that.
So in terms of plays right now that can happen on the map, Senkox could try and push up and go for an aggressive package down in the bottom lane. There is plenty CC available, especially if Kha'Zix joins. They could also use that pressure to then rotate into Nashor, for example. There are no teleports in the top lane, so that could be a good usage of the package. And I think that's exactly what they're setting up, and Broxa now is ready in the bot lane.
Yeah, they are going to spot Trashy out. They see the Corki coming in as well. They're ready for the response play, but the man advantage will be in favor of Splyce overall.
Now Ryze can match this slightly faster than most champions because of the ulti, but there's still the Fog of War. Timer ran out, good cover from Broxa. Package gets used mid lane, play gets negated.
Just pulls back. So I was doing well in these trades overall, building a CS advantage, but his is small compared to what we see coming up from Caps in the mid lane. This guy doing well in the matchup. Not sure if it was the punish on the early itemization or if he's just more comfortable here. But small leads being built up across the lanes in favor of Fnatic.
Yeah, but we're still waiting for that key defining play to really break open this game 3 in the series. Trades are nice and CS advantages are kind of minor here. 100, 200 gold isn't going to be the difference here. We need that key ability to connect one player to overstep or make the leap to break open the game.
I mean, we have so many tools on both sides as well to make those plays happen. We have the hook, the death sentence from Thresh. We have the engage potential, the deadly flourish from Jhin, the follow-up is there, but also you got the Kled ult. You have the Lee Sin on the opposite side, the ultimate coming in from Varus as well.
Yeah, I'd actually like to see Broxa make a lane gang top right now. It's something that is, I think, underutilized, where you just walk in, hide in the brush, kind of surprise people, but obviously if you get spotted somehow, you completely give up the other side of the map, so it's definitely understandable that players don't really go for it. A lot of lack of vision here top side though from Fnatic. Look at it, Broxa moving in again. Really controlling enemy jungle.
Good to see. We saw the same kind of play coming in from Fnatic in game 2.
I meant Splyce earlier. Yeah, topside vision, no vision for Splyce whatsoever. They're losing their jungle. It actually means that Fnatic could rotate to topside with the Ryze and Lee Sin.
And this is the second time that a Splyce roam attempt has been spotted out. Of course, Senko's just poking his head up there, laying down a bit of vision of his own, but Fnatic see everything right now.
Yeah,
that
ward is basically to prevent the Ryze and Lee Sin to go from top when he's no longer there. So like entry-level wards in your jungler, really, really efficient. Because it looks like Splyce is really pointing down to the bottom lane. That's where they want to go aggressively, so they just put defensive vision that they need in their jungle. It was just a little bit too late.
Of course, they're aware Splyce is here now. Control ward in the bush. Keep Fnatic relatively comfortable, but Reckless has to be careful.
Here we go.
Oh, moving forward. Hook's not going to connect. Leap out.
Ooh, that is like lack of synergy on 2 fronts here. Reckless could have ultied on Mickey here and actually gotten great punish.
I mean, look, Lee Sin is there as well. The potential to just blow one target up is massive when you look at the damage.
Mickey could have actually just straight up died right there. Now Mickey's going in.
He may die right here. Gets kicked back. Follow-up goes in. That's another first blood for Broxa. TP's coming. Not going to get completed. Running for his life. It's Kabi. Does make it out in the end.
What is this complete lack of synergy from Splyce? So they move to the bottom lane. Super obviously. Everybody knows what's going on. Kha'Zix goes for Karma. Thresh misses the most gamble hook ever under the turret. They split in different directions. And then they re-engage while Kha'Zix is doing Scuttle Crab. This is like 6 instances of, no synergy whatsoever in the Splyce lineup, and good punish by Fnatic.
I mean, so solid. Once again, Broxa finding the first blood. This guy's been all over the place in each and every one of these games. It feels like Trashy is struggling to keep up, and more importantly, Splyce is struggling to put the pieces together, because now the CS lead continues to grow in the mid lane. Ryze is free to push, free to bully. Yeah. And honestly, it's a similar story for top. Rumble's doing a good job keeping it equal, but you can see who's keeping the lane pushed.
Ulti comes out. They want to get to Reckless or slow down Karma here.
Trashy's going in. This could be the double, looking for the reset. It's a lot of damage onto Jezz. They can't quite get it yet. Deadly Flourish not going to come out, but Mickey may just give his life. Pulls back, flashes the hook. Playing with fire there. Splyce get the 1 kill back.
Yeah, a slight overstaying here from Fnatic. The Blast Cone really allows jungler and support to jump over the wall kind of unnoticed and close the gap much faster than you would expect here. Good punish. Jezz uses flash earlier to trade out the copy. It was too far up.
Oh, Senkux flashes forward, trades it for the exhaust.
That's a good summer trade.
Flash for exhaust?
I mean, for Senkux.
Oh, for Senkux.
Yeah,
I thought you were like for Caps. It's like,
yeah. I mean, for Caps, it would only be worth it if he has a pressure advantage, but the wave was clear, so Senkux happens. Good shoot by Mickey. Obviously, had Flay if it's still connected.
Relatively comfortable, of course. Kabi, low on mana. Mickey, low on health. Both laners going to have to back out here, and we'll take a look at this one more time. Yeah,
so this is the re-engage. Look where Kha'Zix and Corki are. This is blind. But did he not even see Lee Sin? There was a ward that he had deeper.
I thought they saw him earlier when they...
Oh no, that's on a control ward, so that ward is disabled. So he definitely did not have any vision. So this was blind flash into lane as Thresh. Yeah, no, you can't do that.
I mean, Ooh, not going to follow up there. Mickey there to back up in the end, but no exhaust means that Ryze damage is all too hard to deal with.
And it just shows you in the competitive play how a single mistake can really cost you so much. Splyce were holding on just fine. They were making attempts and then backing off when Fnatic reacted, but then the single mistake there and lack of synergy or communication loses them first blood and the turret.
On the one hand, props to Mickey. Flashes over the Varus ultimate, ready to engage, but no one else is there to back him up. Flashy play, but just not worth it. Making
no props.
I couldn't. No, do that, so.
No, don't give him props. He flashed in his Thresh. He was playing solo queue. That's what he was doing right there. It's like, oh, look at me. I can flash over a skill shot. Don't ask me why. I'm just gonna do it.
Okay, I see your point. And now I'm starting to see why I'm not very good at League of Legends. But focusing back in on the
just
real
because
professionals.
You can doesn't mean you should. It's like rule number 1. Right now, let's see how Splyce try and remedy this, though. They go into 1v1 again. Corki on a side lane with package. He can handle that for about a minute, though. But they need to make something happen here. Open up, maybe package, Jhin ulti, something.
Oh, curtain call. That is the ultimate we're looking for. Death Sentence. Is it going to connect? Does land onto Jezz. This could be good, but Trashy's going to get locked down, and he's locked down under tower. The stealth doesn't mean anything. 1 auto for Reckless. It's just the 1-for-1.
Yeah, your invisibility means nothing here, says the tower. Trashy falls, so that's, a good opener. But again, not enough finesse in the execution.
Yeah, 2K gold lead now for Fnatic. Control of the top side. Top tower looks set to fall if they're not going to look to contest this.
Every mistake they make costs them like a rotation on the turret and chip damage.
Yeah, top lane is an island, but is eventually going to go in the favor of this Kled if they just keep making mistakes.
Ooh, they're looking for Ryze ulti top here. Mickey X's Lantern could prove to be really useful.
Goes for the ult. That does not connect. Interesting.
I think it was point blank. Good.
Needs more time to ramp up there. Not going to get a shield. Now moving forward, Mickey in trouble. But so as demounted means there's not really any aggressive options here. He's just going to have to back out of this fight or risk his life in an exchange. And Splyce are already moving into the mid lane.
And they're moving to mid lane. There's obviously the wave clear from Varus here. And again, Fnatic there had a choice. Do we push mid? Do we put Ryze on the bot lane there? Or do we go for an aggressive play in the top lane? And the benefit of that is there was no risk of failure. Even if it failed, they could reset the map. So that's why this was a good set of moves from Fnatic. Because they had a chance to kill Mickey there. It was very close. The snare basically meant it so that Broxa missed his Q, but whenever this Thresh sends out the hook, he CCs himself. And that's the main weakness of this pick. Well, he hasn't really seen play very often because you need really good accuracy to make it work.
Kind of putting a lot of faith in individual skill instead of raw power there. Taking big risks here. And honestly, Fnatic, the only risk we've seen from them in draft is Kled, and only because it's sort of an unknown factor here, but so far, so good. It's remaining relatively even in pressure, losing out now in CS.
Yeah, Fnatic, they're potentially thinking about a rotation bot here too, because Rumble's still basing top. Corki's going to show, or at least get some deep vision bot side, I think is what they were looking for.
Reckless is caught. Locked up. That's the hook we were looking for. Exhaust goes down, but Heal comes out, and he's just going to run to safety. Trashy is here. Snare going to dissuade any further aggression. 1 shot, 2. Looking for 3. Jez is just going to block. Has to flash to safety. 4 shot goes in onto Jez. So as on the front lines. A real follow-up. Captive audience. Deadly Flourish. Nothing going to connect here.
Yeah, Reckless is out of mana, so he desperately looks for a base here. Splyce, they're trying to make things connect, but not just enough follow-up, not enough damage here. So losing control of the game.
They get 2 flashes. They get a heal as well. They're going to have to capitalize on that if they want to find a way back, because the goal is still very much in favor of Fnatic.
Yeah, but Mickey had the liberty to play that far forward because he had his kind of eject button with the flash. Right now he's playing a flashless Thresh, which is incredibly risky to play. So we need to see good communication between the members right there. Let's see how it all starts. This is the earlier play. Yeah. Trashy takes Lantern. Now he walks back in. I don't think you need to if you're Trashy right there. Also, because they both were on the same spot, it actually forced Trashy to path into
a path around him. It's just like Thresh, lose a little bit of weight, but there has to be room there.
Hit that cardio, bro.
Oh, feels bad. But of course, I mean, great punish by Reckless. Quick reaction there. Now we're going to
keep rolling.
Keep rolling.
I think this is where he gets hooked eventually.
Ah, yes.
Oh no, Thresh isn't even here. Are we live? Where are we? Oh, we're back. We're back, Twigos. But we gotta go back.
It's the butterfly effect.
We gotta go back to the island. No, we're back in live right now.
I want to see it again, Crepo.
How did it happen? Fnatic right now, they're just under 2,000 gold ahead, but they have always the first move to make, and Trashy is looking to really find his impact on his Kha'Zix pick.
Mickey gets slowed up, Mickey gets poked there, but once again, game mostly stalled out. Trying to find the big openings. Fnatic found one earlier, it built them a bit of a lead, but they're going to need to find a bit more if they really want to take this game out of control, if they want to find a massive lead, because right now Ryze and Corki comfortable on the side lanes.
Yeah, and that's for Fnatic here. Scaling Ryze on the side lanes is what you want. Corki scales really well, but he doesn't really like playing on side lanes. He would wish he was mid as well, so that's the problem for Splyce. They don't like 1-3-1ing as much as Fnatic do, I think, with their comp. Fnatic run the traditional 1-3-1, but then turn into pincer comp. Having a Kled flying from one side and a Ryze from the other is really what you'd like to see happen.
I mean, if I'm completely honest, what I really want to see is the Kled ult and then Ryze channel the ult so that Kled lands in it as the channel completes and appear in the middle of the team. I don't think that'll happen.
Why don't you like ulti, Ryze ulti and ulting Kled to a different lane? Turn around the pinball machine. I don't think you can do that.
I don't think the range is long enough, but that is a dream, Crepo. That is a dream that I think we
send him back in time.
To.
He ults down the lane, you send him back, and then he ults down again.
If there's no room for him to ult, because you know the longer he goes, the more damage it does, the bigger shield he gets. So, just saying, there's some top tier strats there that I don't think European teams have explored yet.
The Kled acceleration gate.
Get into a custom. Make it happen, people. Show us what you got. Fnatic got a Cloud Drake. Ocean up next. Not really the one that they wanted in this early game, but will add at least a small amount to their already existing lead.
Cav's backing off. He's much more comfortable on this Ryze pick when it comes to side lane pressure as well. Last game we saw him hesitate very often. Should I go for this wave? Can I go? If they come, can I contest? He's so comfortable in juking aggressively on Ryze as a champion already, and he will have that Realm Warp to get out of harm's way, especially since there's not really a cancel on the side of Splyce. If you can avoid some of the damage, it is really hard for Splyce to really cancel the Realm Warp channel.
Brox leaps to safety. Equalizer goes down. Brox doesn't really have anywhere to run, but behind Jez's, good body block comes out. Oh, nice final shot to kill Jez's. He's the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, he had 20 seconds left on that flash right there, so not much he could do bar jukes, but he was already slow, so it's very easy for Splyce to follow up. The problem, however, is the wave clear is still alive for Fnatic. So yes, they lose the support for Splyce. How do they punish?
Finding an opportunity. Trashy goes forward. Can't look for the dismount. Does find the snare in the end and goes to Lee Sin. Trashy giving a lot of respect to Broxa.
Yeah, quite surprising that Soaz wants to take it that far. He loses his flash again. This is a 4v5 map situation here for Fnatic, and they're fighting aggressively.
Mickey goes for the trick play. Isn't going to work out. Does play the Lee Sin back, though. That will save his life.
Yeah, he went for the Mad Life, or the flash over the wall from Caps here, but Caps makes the smart choice. If you just flash to the river, there's no way ever that Hook connects here, but Fnatic playing so aggressive despite being a member down.
And I mean, Soaz has already used the TP now. They're determined to break this tower. Kled ult is up and available, but he doesn't get to choose who he's going to hit. Mickey backing out. Maybe this is an opportunity. The slow, the steady siege.
But you may question it, but it is still decisive, so that's at least something for Fnatic here. Want to get things done. Splyce desperately holding on here. They need to move Wunder to a side lane now, because you said it right there. Teleports on cooldown. The way you really punish that is by using it on a side lane.
Well, Fnatic are now moving to a side lane themselves. Caps and Brox is set up in the top lane, looking to get a little bit of pressure. Senkux may not have much health, but he has plenty of wave clear to mitigate this.
And but the whole reason Fnatic can't push through there is because Rumble can actually teleport from mid to top on that control ward too, for example. So Fnatic right now, with that play, they put themselves in a very precarious position for the next 3 to 4 minutes here. Another pick attempt by Kobe.
Curtain Call meets Flash. Jesus finally has it up.
Yeah, and they're really using it as a setup tool. Curtain Call into Hook. If a single bullet connects, it makes it so easy for Mickey to connect the Hook, which then in turn makes it so easy for Kobe to connect the next few shots.
Good to see these small bits of synergy, these small combos coming out that Splyce sort of failed to execute on in their game one. We heard it from Sheepy on the desk. And for me, I mean, we wanted to talk more about what Jesus and Broxa do together, where we can see them roaming. And once again, they're spending a ton of time together, but I don't feel like we're seeing them push as much for deep vision. And this game just does not feel like it's as much about what they can do.
And it's also one of the reasons that Jesus' flash is always on cooldown. Because he's not getting the support from his jungler, or they're not really working together. Now they are. And because imagine if he gets engaged on like that and they can just share the bullets. You each take 2. You don't have to flash them if you're Karma.
Yeah, I mean, Lee Sin, much larger relative pool, a little bit tankier when it comes to stats. Wonder.
He's trying to suck in Soaz to fight for that turret, but Soaz yields. Smart play.
Gold now dead even, though. The Cloud Drake, the only difference between the two teams, and it feels just like Game 2 once again.
Yeah, map lead for Splyce because they have teleport advantage, so they just need to force something. But here is Fnatic, the one forcing.
Fnatic wants to go in. Mickey knocks it back. He's still going to get burned. Kabi's going to go for a kill. Not going to be enough damage. Oh, gets him in the end. Senkux locked up so he can't follow, but Realm Warp. Equalizer goes down. This is Transy's chance to sign. The exhaust goes in, but it's Kabi who's going to start cleaning up house. Wunder moving forward. Caps looking for the knockdown. Here comes the charge from the Kled. He can't cancel it. He's going right to his own death, but can he get one in exchange? Soaz running for his life, the pocket pistol, but it's the curtain call. The bigger guns win the fight, and Splyce clean up.
Yeah, shine bright like a challenger for Splyce right there. What an aggressive move by Fnatic, but why would you ever engage when you don't have teleport advantage? I don't think that's going to kill. No.
Edge Knight blocks the deadly flourish.
But why would you make that move, Fnatic? What a punish from Splyce. The teamwork, the turn. Rek'Os gets sniped. Yeah, look at him. He knows.
One shot, one kill. Splyce now looking to take down a tower as well. And this is very similar to what we saw in Game 1 once again, because we saw overcommitment onto a support target, overcommitment onto one person, burning the burst too early.
Yeah. The Hook is down. They open up on Thresh, but right now, you don't have a way to cancel the Rumble teleport. You don't know where Kha'Zix is. Senkux goes in and punishes, and at this point you're seeing Ducks. Remember, this is a team with an Equalizer and a Jhin ultimate available. Now I want you to follow and see what happens here. And Splyce, they're not good teammates because they leave Wunder to die. But Rashi actually accidentally still takes that cut ulti because the Zonias runs out just a fraction too late, and they make it work.
It's a small missed timing.
They were trying to sell him. Poor Wunder.
Okay, I kind of want to see this, so I hope we get it.
Yeah.
Edge of Night, great.
Great Edge of
Love
Night.
that item. And then...
But Rek'Os got sniped. Where is there? Yeah, there's vision. So Rek'Os should know. Because when you already get sniped in that position, guess where the ward was? Right there. Don't walk that way again. Walk into your jungle and be safe. Because he just dodged a deadly flourish with Edge of Night. So they must have had vision on him. So they don't randomly cast this into the Wraith Pit.
Apparently they had vision on Brox as well, because he's dead and Baron is very much in the eyes of Splyce.
Could be a throw though. These are 5 squishy members that don't tank very well. They do a lot of damage.
So as is ult again as well. He's moving forward. Equalizer goes down on the backside. There's so many low members in the pit. The Baron is low. Smite comes down onto it. Kabi is left alone looking for the duel with Soaz. Gets the forced shot out, but it's not enough. The remaining members of Splyce take down Caps with the arrows coming up. No mistime this time, but not enough.
If it wasn't for the exhaust from Mickey, that was a 1v4 quadra kill for Caps. No joking. He was so close to finishing them all off right there. But a good exhaust allows him to live, but he still sidestepped the hook here. And again, a 1-for-2 kill exchange on a Baron start by Splyce. Way too rash. Just because you killed the jungler, with your comp in mind, you can't just start these panic Barons.
And the question is, what are they going to give up for it? We look back on this now, and this just feels so greedy.
They just follow Caps in this fight. Sidestep 1, sidestep 2, jukes hook 3, goes to Senkix with exhaust, goes in, doesn't get flayed. Mickey goes in, he flashes for Trashy. Now this exhaust right here means he can't get Mixie, he can't get Wunder or Trashy, and they clean up. But he did so much work on his rise. Much better pick than the Malzahar.
A single missed Q and an exhaust coming in shuts down what could have been a highlight reel moment for Caps. And really, we can praise the exhaust from Mickey, right? We can say that they mitigated the impact there, but they are the ones that gave Caps the stage to perform on. They're the one that said, hey, we'll give you the chance to get a quadra kill.
Yeah, go for it. Let's see Splyce right now. They should still be in control. And again, they have this really good pick setup. That's what we're talking about. When the map is open, the 1-3-1, that's what Fnatic want to play. When the map kind of closes in and the Rumble can facilitate the follow-up from the poke and the Jhin damage, that's what Splyce want to do. Rumble ulti is just an activator of this team comp. Because that also allows Mickey to finally land hooks.
Every slow, every small piece of CC. There's not a ton of hard CC on this Splyce lineup, but everything can set up the Jhin, can set up the Thresh as well. Caps now split pushing. He remains uncontested, and Splyce, they had the gold lead after that misplay, and now they're giving it up.
But the difference is they got the gold lead because they were capitalizing on a teleport advantage, right? But Fnatic's composition is better at neutralizing the map than Splyce's is, because they can run 1-3-1 so well. So that's exactly what they're doing right now. And that's why it looks like Splyce is losing the gold lead again. Because they no longer have teleport advantage for Wunder to TP away from Soaz. Soaz can match. And also Fnatic have learned. They now have learned that they shouldn't just blindly engage on the support.
Not going to give up that advantage again. Next major mistake. I mean, could be once again the defining factor we've been waiting for, we've been looking for. We saw it so early in game 1, much later in game 2 in the Fnatic Baron attempt.
Yeah.
Splyce give up a sloppy Baron.
Side lane's pushed. Fnatic group in mid, so they're looking for a Kled play here on any member overextending. They can engage on the support if it's Soaz doing it.
Wonder, and Soaz about to meet in the jungle. Not going to look for the fight, not going to look for the commitment.
No, they're spinning out again. They only had a window of about 20 seconds. By the time the side lanes bounce back into them, they need to catch again. So it's a give and take right here. But I like it. So they're spicing it up. They're not always just basing return to lane, basing return to lane. They're switching up the map configurations to hopefully confuse Splyce, catch them off guard. Now Splyce are looking for deep vision.
Trashy potentially could overextend here. We'll see the ward get dropped down. Knows that Fnatic see into the jungle. Corki gets a tower in the meantime. Once again, small gold advantage for Splyce as the pressure evens out. Kled's on the bottom side. Yeah. Someone's going to have to respond to this.
That's the problem. Now Soaz can technically peel off, run to mid, ulti in, for example. That is Kled's gameplay pattern if he has side lane pressure. That's why you see Splyce always lean to the left side. They do not want to get ganked by Soaz.
And of course, I mean, technically a pseudo-global ability.
Yeah, Fnatic, they peel off as well from top to mid right now, but there's no wave because they want to get this mid lane turret. So because there's no wave, Soaz goes back to bot lane.
Call up, hook lands onto Broxa, follow up, looking for a bit more damage, not going to find it. Tower goes low, ult comes out, Wonder's in trouble, Realm Orb's coming in, Wonder's left alone, and he's just set him up to go golden, just to drop in the end. Equalizer to dish out the damage, but Fnatic find the pick.
Yeah, Wonder's so desperately trying to react to good sides of Rajez. 1-2, hook goes wide. Yeah, that was great from Fnatic, because they kind of faked out the collapse on mid lane. Wunder was so desperate to finally get some side lane pressure in his bot lane that he overextended. And then Caps, he ran down from top to mid to Realm Ward bot. Again, he's influencing the map with his champion. Much different pick here, much more comfortable on the rise.
Good to see from Caps. It's exactly the sort of pick that we wanted. Not the Malzahar, not the reactive pick overall. And it means Fnatic now finally are in the driver's seat when it comes to pressure. Gold still slightly in the favor of Splyce, but it just doesn't matter 32 minutes into the game. The 1K advantage is not a make or break point.
Yeah, we're seeing a familiar old style return to the Fnatic organization that it seems to work best for them when they play around the top side. They play around their solo lanes and they just pick a pushing, sustainable farming bot lane for Reckless and Jesus.
Working out, I mean, really well. And Reckless does not really needing to be the center carry. Jez is potentially in trouble. Sencux very aggressive. We'll force them back. We'll guarantee a little bit of vision into that jungle, but Fnatic is grouping up.
Yeah, Fnatic must be pretty dark now for them. Their Baron vision, probably not the best here.
Splyce moving forward, maybe looking for the bait. Deadly Flourish.
Yeah, look at it right now. The second this mid lane gets pushed, it's going to get real dark real quick. And that's really good by Splyce, because they push mid lane, now Fnatic have to catch. And look, Splyce could technically be on the Baron already for 5 seconds right now. So that's bootring it down. And they could be on it right now, for example. This Baron could be on 5k, 4k, 3k. This is what's going through the minds of Fnatic right now. This is why they're panicking. They're sending in kind of fake Realm Orbs, and then they find out, okay, they're not doing it. And now the play goes back to Fnatic.
Vision cleared out. Splyce will clear the mid lane and look for the rinse and repeat, but Fnatic may be the ones looking for the fight. They're split up, they walk down Wonder, Equalizer comes out, that's a good setup. Curtain Call going in, Trash on the backside looking for the 1v1 on Soaz. He makes it out, but he's ticking down. Deathfire touch, not gonna be enough. Mickey on the front side. Caps goes in, that's gonna be big. Wonder's gonna get taken down. No Zhonya's from the last play. Means Fnatic find the kill, but they're low, and they have to play smart.
Yeah, they have to play smart, but Trashy is going back to base here. They have poke and they can rotate for the dragon. That spawn is still a minute, so they can't, but they can definitely look at this mid lane turret here.
Soaz, here comes the charge. It's Mr. Kled's wild ride, and Mickey's gonna be up. He gets burned down. Sencux could be next. Joust forward, looking for a bit more of a kill. That might be too greedy, but Soaz is unconcerned.
Mr. Kled a little crazy right there.
All right, too deep.
Too deep for Soaz, but I like the whole setup here. Both plays were really interesting to follow. Chez's drops.
Oh.
There was a random trap there, I think. Did he walk on a trap, or maybe he just spawned a trap as he died? Anyways, Kobe gets a kill. But the whole setup, it was so interesting to follow, because in so many scenarios, Splyce actually get that Nashor. But they wait patiently for the fish stick. Fnatic's patience pays off, and then they turn the play upside down with a really good re-engage, actually, from Caps onto Wunder. But now they make a mistake on the back end, because Soaz goes too deep. Now the advantage goes back to Fnatic.
Oh, this could be the 50-50 Baron. They're burning it down quickly. They have 3 damage threats here. Sencux is there to zone.
Yeah, Wunder is actually relatively tanky right now. Trashy is more sustained. They also have long-range redemption coming in. And the problem is, it's not a 50-50 because Lee Sin can't enter the pit. There's too much damage. And this is Soaz technically throwing the game.
And say one thing about Red side, the pick ban may be harder, but it's much harder for Lee Sin to find a way into that pit in the face of Sencux.
I mean, this is the foiled Baron attempt for Splyce, so they're looking for ground in the game. They open up, disengage, Equalizer goes wide, great. Soaz does a good job peeling here, gets off his mount, and then Wunder, this is a pathing error from him that gets punished immediately from Caps. Broxa also debatable whether he should go in there, but here Fnatic have won out. They make a pick. Look at, imagine a world where Soaz just turns around right now. The map control that they have, but they greed so hard and it costs them a Baron.
Not where you want to be. This is the break point we talk about. We've been waiting to see it. It happens 36 minutes in, and this could be another one. That's a massive equalizer. Caps gets popped. This is going to be all too easy as Splyce find a pick, and it could be the Elder Dragon next.
Yeah, they can just start this Elder right now, force Fnatic to contest, and look for more leaps forward here. What a beautiful equalizer from Wunder.
Broxa waiting in the wings. Can he steal this? Q goes in.
Connects.
Holding. Patient. Splyce waiting. Get it in the end. Nice patience on the burst.
Yeah, and that's the communication you need from Splyce. Hold out the Lee Sin Q and then call a burst moment. 2K, 1.8, call whatever you want, but then do it as a team. There's no way Broxa can steal.
Objective control was such an issue for Splyce in the past, but they clean it up here when it counts the most.
Yeah, Broxa and Caps lost both their flashes in the last fight as well, so they're looking at this Splyce siege. This is where Splyce is strong. They don't have a front line. Now the minions can be their front line to keep targets busy to just land that poke.
And look at the damage with this Jhin, with the Corki in the mid lane. Towers don't stand a chance. Yeah. Caps up in 6, and Fnatic need to find an opportunity quick.
Yeah, both have cannons as well here. Range extension on the siege here. So easy for Sencux to land poke and just stand a little bit further away with the autos sometimes as well.
Slow setup. Siege minion going to start to take it down. Waiting for the rapid fire cannon before he can get that one. Ticking down. Minion not in range to disable the bonus armor and MR.
Look at greedy the setup is. Cub is already setting up the next lane. They're done.
Kled on the bottom side, just trying to get something, but he's going to have to back off. He's going to have to be ready for a fight, and the Edge of Night going to stop anything from going down too quick. Say what you want about a 1K gold lead, but a 5K gold lead at any stage of the game is pretty big.
I'm still very surprised that Splyce did not elect to just go for the group finish on at least an inhibitor in the mid lane. They just want to pick up as much gold on the map, it seems.
Corki, Rumble on the bottom side. Maybe now they're going to look to get a little something else, but the tier 2s seem all too easy to take.
Very dangerous to siege if you're Splyce when you no longer have this Baron buff. Because with the Realm Warp and with the Kled Ultimate, it is very easy for Fnatic to punish flanks here. Teleport's available soon on Soas as well here, and there's plenty of wards that he can technically teleport to. So this may be a late engage here on the inhib from Splyce, but they get it in the end.
Pulling back have package as well, so could potentially win a team fight. Still have to respect the flank from Fnatic. May look to rinse and repeat on the top side. That could be an opening.
This is where vision control is really important. There's luckily no deports here. Because of Roxa obviously haven't been in this area for quite a while. And you can't teleport to blue wards. But if there was a ward, that is the dream here. Look, they're setting up for a potential Realm Warp too. And you can drop Soas maybe top right and then have a multi from behind.
Flash, hook, connects onto Broxah. That's a good start to the fight. Lee Sin's gonna get taken out. Mickey with the trick play. Soaz on the front line. Equalizer to look for the disengage. Wonder flashes forward. Has the Zhonya's up and available. Someone needs to tank the tower aggro. Kavi's gonna make the hero play. They pull back. He'll take a little bit extra, but Splyce are gonna grab the tower.
Yeah, that was a good Varus ultimate right there. Fnatic looking so busy at looking what they were going to do that forgot about Mickey X.
Say what you want about the Thresh, it may be so hard to find those hooks, but when you got Baron buff, when you got a fed team standing behind you, it's easy to just throw that out.
That's the cheerleading squad at that point. Like, everybody's like, go, Mickey, go. Plant that hook. It's okay if you fail. Like, that's a dream scenario for Thresh when you're this far ahead. That's why this pick, it just doesn't play well from behind. If you're on Fnatic, imagine if there's a Thresh in Jesus' place. Sent out a hook, just bopped immediately. But look at this. Fnatic, no, the second they walk into that path and they see Rumble, it's like, nah. This is not going to end well.
Oh.
Ooh. You get the spy cam. Look at it.
Oh.
One more time.
Give it to me in 3D. Just keep running it back.
This is 3D.
360.
Yeah, give me the Dolby surround sound
give
system.
me the 7.1.
Yep.
Oh. Rumble mains out there. Enjoying their brief moment in the sun. They could be like, oh.
Yeah, I did that once.
Clean equalizer.
That was a key pick off from Wunder. And again, it's a pivotal matchup here. Wunder versus Soaz. Soaz taketh, but then Soaz throweth as well.
Oh, Mickey going forward. Hooks up Soaz. Decent damage. Locked up. Now looking for the curtain call. One shot, two. Connecting onto Soaz. He's going to dismount. Broxah moving into block.
All right, final siege here. Top lane inhib is open. But again, Splyce, their composition likes keeping the map tiny. They don't want to split up because it's very easy for this Realm and this Nard to make lonesome picks.
Fnatic backing off though, respecting the equalizer. Can't afford to get caught out again.
I mean, Splyce, they're going to cash in on all the gold that they're sitting in their bank, and they're going to start setting up. A minute and a half is generally the time where you want to do the final push on the waves and then move to an Asher area to set up the vision. There's no wards really here on Mickey, so I'm actually surprised that they're rotating for the final inhib as opposed to just basing and setting up vision.
Once again, the gold lead very much in the favor of Splyce, but we've seen teams throw away something greater.
Yeah.
Fnatic just looking for an opportunity, and Splyce.
Look at them. They realize it now. So they oh, nice going.
Going in, charging into the front lines, looking to find something. Soaz isn't going to get anything in the end, but Mickey's going to get caught out. That's a massive pick for Fnatic.
I love seeing this punished because this is a mistake and was completely unnecessary for Splyce.
Caps is going in. Nice shield coming in on the Saracen Embrace. Kick back. Caps knocks him down.
And guess what? It's 45 seconds to Baron right now. You don't have control of the map if you're Splyce. They had plenty of time, ample of safety and vision.
Backs are canceled. Redemption got used to cancel the backs. They're looking for a way in. Moving forward now. Trashy's on the side, needs to land some damage, needs to get it so they can find the Deadly Flourish. Not going to find it.
Something needs to happen here, but it's not happening. And Fnatic, they get their hope back to do something in this game. Imagine if Splyce just based, walked up the mid lane, set up the vision. There was nothing Fnatic could do. Fnatic would have ulted into the abyss. Soaz would have found nobody there.
But the canceled backs means that Fnatic couldn't quite as confidently walk into the pit.
And what a great read from Fnatic as well, because we're talking about how Splyce maybe should have not done that, and, you know, negative Nancy Krepo, but what a read to just go in. Soaz knows if he doesn't stop the setup right there, it will get completed. It will be much harder for Fnatic to find back. And on the back of that play, they're now going for a risky Baron. It may backfire, but they just want to fight their way into this game.
Oh, equalizer, they're trapped in the pit. Soaz is 1v1ing the Baron. The curtain call comes out. Redemption gonna stop the damage.
That's 2 ultis though, traded for maybe a good fight. They need to base right now and get a way to use Wellmorp to their advantage.
Oh, Soaz needs to stay mounted.
Oh, and look at the base. Splyce need to hesitant, like, make use of patience here.
Wave crashing in. Someone needs to respond. Splyce advancing onto the Baron. Lee Sin backing off. This will be the Baron for Splyce. Fnatic.
Rash from Fnatic, but they knew it. They were with their backs against the wall here.
Baron drops 8k gold up for Splyce. This is their moment to close out, to clean up, to find their win over Fnatic, to move up in their group.
That brief mistake from earlier, slate washed clean. They can just set up again, do the same thing they have been, keep the map tiny, use their poke, use their damage. That's the problem right now. There's only 2 threats on Fnatic, Caps and Reckless. And they don't have enough damage to take out the 4 threats on the side of Splyce here.
The exhaust from Zenkux is gone though. This could be an opportunity, but Mickey has one as well. And once again, we're grasping at the smallest of opportunities for Fnatic to find.
Fnatic might just hard commit here and hope that Wunder does not teleport in time. Wunder's about to show.
We've seen Splyce fail on communication before. This is potentially an opportunity.
They need to wait at least 30 seconds before they even try to hit this inhibitor. Anything more is just borderline cocky if you're Splyce.
Caps walking forward, clearing waves, stopping the Baron and powered minions. Wunder's now going mid to get the push going in every single lane.
Yeah, they want to do a 4-1 split push, but they don't want to do it top. So Reckless reacting.
Flash forward, flash out, charge goes in. Trashy looks to be the one who's going to get caught up. Pulled back to the team, and in comes Wunder. Almost perfect timing. Soaz needs to find a way out. Looking for the Realm War. Back, curtain call going in. Jesus might be the sacrificial lamb. Broxa wants to go in for the save. Kicks 2 back. Soaz still alive. Guardian Angel ticking down. Wunder so low. Caps on the front lines. Kabi going to find a kill onto Broxa. Splyce in absolute control.
Yeah, Splyce, read the re-engage from Fnatic. Right now, Caps is under pressure. He's dropping low.
Isolated. He's going to drop. That's the double kill from Kabi. Mickey brings it into the fight, but they're under the towers. The damage sources are all but dead, and Splyce are cleaning up after a terrible game 1. They find a way back in game 2, and here in game 3, they might just win it.
Yeah, Fnatic pulled the trigger decisively in doing so, but they also revealed it too early. It was too easy for Splyce to walk back. It was too easy for them to kite, and it's now too easy for them to take the final Nexus turret.
1 tower drops, another to fall. They're burning down Fnatic. They want the members. They want the base. They want the series. Splyce find the win.
And you can see the strain this series put on both teams here. Splyce, Yamato, very relieved, but this team definitely knows it came too close.
I mean, on the other side for Fnatic, we talked about how much both teams need to find the win here, and it has to feel crushing to be so close to victory and not to be able to find it in the end. But Splyce, so critical in the first couple games about their communication, these small moments where everything fell apart, but when it really mattered, when it counted most, they brought it together. And so much of that was Wunder and the equalizers, but also the team being there to follow up immediately.
Yeah. And more importantly, they bounced back. And resilience is an attribute that you definitely want to nourish and cultivate if you're Splyce right now. Because you can't rely on that kind of 16-2 summer split end that you had, you know, that propelled you forward into the split. You need to learn how to deal with failures and mistakes in the game and still bounce back. That's what they did this game.
Mono, single, smile for the camera. Earned the series in the end. Fnatic, I feel like we saw marked improvement in some areas. In other areas,
but we also saw some big juicy throws, we have to be honest. There's definitely a world where Fnatic wins this series. But I like that they tackled some of the core issues that we had already kind of tried to research. So there is improvement. So if you're a Fnatic fan out there, don't get too upset because there was a marked improvement in what I think is kind of setup and attempt, which is more important than in the end result because you're building towards playoffs, right? Like they changed gameplay patterns in terms of vision. They tried to get more synergy together. They were decisive as a team. Like they had some plays where all 5 committed. You can question whether that's the right play, maybe not. But they were all in it together as a team, which means shot calling dominance kind of is definitely present there. So now they just need to refine. So there's definitely hope. But it's a lot of building that's left to be done. Is 4 or 5 weeks enough? I don't even know if Fnatic is like practicing during Katowice, because I saw some tweets of some members going for like fan meets and stuff. So I'm actually quite surprised there. We'll have to see whether Fnatic can actually build up to become that top-tier team again.
And once again, there can be no doubt that both the teams showed us improvement this week. That we saw some issues work out. And overall, for me, it feels like this was better from both teams. I want to see if they can start to contend for that second place spot as they move forward, because they look very comfortably in third now. And if they keep growing, if they can grow faster than Misfits, grow faster than H2K, both those teams occupying the second seed slot, like maybe.
It's a tall stretch, though.
Yeah.
It's going to get rough.
Absolutely fair. I'm curious, once again, how it'll come up, because both of these teams have much easier matchups in the future. But for more on that win, let's go send it over to Pyrotechnics on the stage, who's joined by one of those winners.
Thank you very much, guys. I am joined by Suncook. So, man, I mean, what a long series under the bright lights and everything, and he goes all the way past 40. How do you guys keep your heads in a game that goes that long?
I mean, it's quite hard when the game is just you wait for another match, and we're sitting here, and it's really, really warm up on stage today. So, I mean, I'm sweating a bit, but I think we kept it cool, and we just waited it out like we should do in the last game at least.
Well, you certainly managed to find that victory, and it seemed like things really flipped around after game one. It was such a clinical victory from Fnatic, and then you guys kept it a lot closer after that. What changed?
I mean, I think we did a big mistake. Game one, we when they had mid-top, we need to pressure that a lot, and we picked matchup that needs to two-tune that, and we didn't really do it, and they just kind of got ahead of that, and then Camille will snowball, and she will look like a really stupid champion, and he'll 100,000 true damage on her Q, so... I mean, it was a bit hard to play that game after what happened early on, and we just shook it off and got into the next game. Yeah,
no kidding about shaking it off. All right, so I want to move on to talk about something. I was speaking to Wonder a couple weeks back, and he said you guys seem to have this trouble pulling your trigger on the stage compared to what you do in scrims. Based on how you play today, do you think that problem's gone?
No, definitely not. I think it's the same. I mean, we just played it a bit slower today, and actually I would say it's a bit better today than it was last week. I would say against Misfit it was really, really bad, and I think that's why it looked like we got rolled over so hard, was because we were too afraid to kind of make mistakes on stage, I feel.
Okay, but this time it didn't seem like you made a whole lot of those mistakes, and you kind of played back, but you still were able to get the catches on Fnatic. Like, what were the calls like when those plays were happening?
I think it was mainly like the last two games we weren't really scared of like getting outscaled, so it was like the old Splyce picking Melsa and just standing there and then waiting. So I mean, there's not too much pressure when you have a comp like this that just have to stand back and scale. So I feel like that's kind of what helped us in a way. And I still think we need to work on just playing these really early snowbally comps and do it on stage as well as in scrims.
Cool. You're going to get a little bit of practice and some time off. IM week's coming up. What are you going to be doing to prepare and just kind of, work on what you got to work on for this next week?
I mean, we're just going to scrim like usual and not going to hold too many off days and just try and get better. We don't really deserve any off days the way the split has gone so far. Everybody expected more of us, and so did we. So we're not satisfied with our record right now, and we're going to try to work on that.
All right, harsh on yourselves, but not letting up on the gas. I like that. Suncook, congratulations on your win today. We're going to go ahead and send it over. Back to the analyst desk for the post-game lobby.
Thank you so much, Pyrotechnics, and welcome everybody to the post-game lobby. I'm joined by Deficio as well as the Unicorns of Love, Sheepy and Romain Bijar after another day of cross-group play here in Europe. And well, first up, welcome, Romain. I think this is the first time you've appeared on any desk of ours.
Definitely, it's my. I'm a bit stressed, but I'm sure you guys are going to take good care of me. So
we're gonna have. I don't know. We're gonna have some fun, and we're gonna take some more in-depth talks that are not just about team strategy, about team environment as a whole, which is why we invited you on. But first, we are gonna talk a bit about matches because the series between Fnatic and Splyce just wrapped up, and in the end, Splyce was victorious. If we take a look at the entire series, Sheepy, has either team impressed you today?
I like the way that Splyce drafted in all the games. I think they always had like an idea how to either way force team fights or have any kind of pressure on the map. I think that was really good. And also they played more the meta champions, which I think right now are stronger. And
Fnatic love the meta slaves.
That makes sense, you know, in the eyes that I can see. And I think Fnatic showed more of the comfort picks that they played to this extent. But yeah, I think Splyce showed, I think, good pick and ban phase just generally.
Also, I think it's just cool to see Splyce be a little bit more aggressive, be ready to actually like force fights around the mid lane. We were talking a lot about like how hard it could be to play against Kled if he was just split pushing, but seeing as Fnatic were, for some reason, opting into fights, and then
Nice.
Splyce were obviously taking the fights. We got to see a little bit more proactiveness from them. And Sengoku said it right here, like, it was better today in terms of actually making these calls and then pulling the trigger, which has been a big issue for them the first 4 weeks.
Definitely, and you're being, as you say, you're being kind of forced into fights that you actually want, especially with the Kled all the time, and that's of course something we have to fault Fnatic for.
Yeah, I think the way that Kled was played was not optimal in this. I think Source would probably agree as well. There were some teleports being used a little bit suboptimal as well. This one in itself was actually fine. He gets tower, he gets a kill, but then when you play Kled, you just have to keep going forward, and actually ends up costing them 2 kills and a tower in return. So pretty huge turnaround here for Splyce. So it's going a little bit too ham.
Yeah, a little bit too ham, and in the end, the Splyce manages to do it. They pick up the Baron, they pick up here the Elder Drake then as well, they can finish. The player of the series was Kobe, kind of under the radar, but really sniping a lot of people out with that Jhin, and especially in Game 3, making some game-deciding, I would say, pickoffs, because it tilted a lot in their favor. So yeah, Splyce, really good for them. They are in your group though, so you probably didn't like seeing them win, Romain?
It's good for competition. And I like seeing Yamato Kano smiling at the camera, so it's going to be even sweeter when we face each other again.
Sheepy, before we just went live with this, said the exact opposite. He was like, damn it, this team is in our group. We don't want them to win. We just lost today.
This
so.
is very confidential
I
information.
know.
Every time I say something,
the PR, I love it.
every time that I say something, you know,
We're noting
in a
all down.
funny way backstage, you guys always pick on me on for that.
That's how we get you. And now it's not going to stop here, the bleeding, because earlier we saw G2 take down the Unicorns of Love in a dramatic 2-0. And Romain, now that we have you here, you know, you probably talked to the guys after the series a lot. What was kind of the general sentiment there?
Well, you can't really talk to them. You can't really tell them anything because, I mean, they know more than me, they know more than Chippy. They were there. They saw it. They know they failed, you know. They know it ended up pretty bad. Like, oh man, that's painful to watch because actually the idea behind is not bad. It's just the difference between being a hero and a massive failure is how many HP is there left on this Nexus? Nothing. Like nothing. We went so close to going to third game and yeah, it's a bit painful.
Were you maybe they were mentally already in that third game because they made two of those big mistakes after, or like big, this could go either way, but the one before that where they overpushed after getting Baron and completely having it in their hands.
Are you happy as a coach with the second game?
Oh.
Sorry, I just completely...
I just really enjoyed, honestly, the games. I think they were really interesting. I think G2 gave us so far the biggest challenge. They played really well. I especially like that, although in first game we kind of felt that we have like better draft because we have stronger team fighting, that they were able to utilize their picks to actually, you know, do stuff that we didn't expect. For example, getting early the first blood turret with 1 kill, just because Graves is so good at taking turrets. And I just think that the way that G2 played, we can learn a lot from. I'm not super disappointed, but I would have liked to see, you know, more from the series from our side.
I'm so glad you said that because G2 has stated very clearly that where last year they kind of overcompensated in terms of aggressivity, this year they are trying to play more safe and more controlled and macro. So would you say that it's a goal now for with this revamped squad against for you guys to kind of relearn some of the other macro elements and maybe slow down, or?
I think that they were just more knowledgeable in like some of the ideas that they were going into with the matchups. We, for example, thought in game 1 that we would win the mid lane with the Ryze versus the Orianna and get pressure, but they were able to so efficiently snowball the pressure from the jungler with Graves into topside into mid lane, and then snowball over this. So really props to them for how they played, and I would have just honestly liked to play more games because those games were so interesting.
You can.
Yes, we're gonna play
next week.
We're gonna play more, and I'm really looking forward to this because it's just so interesting. It's such a style of clashes and ideas. This is really, I mean, this is what you're looking forward to. And just to allude to what Romain said as well, you know, it's a very small difference between like being a hero and like the winning team. But I think both teams showed like really great ideas for what they want to go for. And in the end, it just worked out.
It did. Before we talk about IEM, let's take a look at the standings after today's matches. Another day of cross-group play. And G2, after now also facing the leader of Group B, is still victorious and undefeated in Group A.
I actually have a question for you guys. Not that you guys have ever been like in the bottom. I think there was like 1 week where you guys were like 0-2 and then that was it. But if you look at Rocket and Origin now, like as management, what do you do? Like, what do you say to the players here? Do you start kicking players? Do you reset the way you practice? Like, is there anything you can really do here, in your opinion, if you are now 0-5 and almost out of playoff race?
It's so hard. Like, it happened to us actually last split. At the beginning of it, we were bottom, and like the way back to the gaming house in the bus when you have this sick, massive silence, no one is speaking, everyone got the face like this. I actually couldn't say how we pulled it back. I think we just kept training. I mean, you have nothing else to do, right? You wake up in the morning, you feel a bit shitty, but you have to go to train, and you train and you train.
Well, wouldn't you say you kept training, but you could also work from a base that is something that has been there for so long and so tried and tested, which was Vizicachi, which was Hylissang, which was all of you guys. And I feel like that is something that is lacking, especially for a team like Origin and maybe also Rocket in terms of scouting and like
so we had a really fresh team. That was a bit of the problem. Yeah, I totally agree with you. If you have been winning before, it's kind of easy. You should not spend time on your losses, but you should try to remember wait, we had this win, what happened? How did it happen? And then you break it through and you have to go back to it. And okay, we won because Chachi was ahead. We won because our mid game was solid and blah, blah, which is actually what Chippy is doing on daily basis. But that was a bit harder because that was a really fresh team. So I think, I actually know, we spend time with our rookie. And those new guys, because we knew Ili and Vizicachi were good guys, and we knew they were solid and they could perform. What we did is we spent time with the new guys, and we told them, we trust you. We legit trust you. We're not going to fire you. So we stay all together. We are in the same boat. If we sink together. And if we sail full speed together.
It's definitely adamant in looking at Exile, who had massive growth as a player, who's been really solid. Of course, he had a bit of an off day today, but you as a coach, you must be very happy with how he progressed, rather.
I think just everyone's mentality is so great in the team because everyone's working hard and everyone wants this pretty badly. Obviously, you invested everything into right now the career in esports. You stopped your education, and you're basically looking for the dream, but also trying not to live with the regret of maybe missing out on something. And everyone is very aware of this and is very mature about it. And this is why we are so invested into what we're doing, and we really try to learn. And I think if you have like the backbone like this, and you just keep practicing and being really honest about what's going on and what you can learn, I think then there's like almost no ceiling. You can just like keep practicing and keep learning.
I mean, the proof is in the pudding. You guys are a household name here in the European LCS. Also got your first international title with IEM Oakland a couple of months ago. And now there is another chance because next week the EU LCS will be taking off. Well, some of the teams won't because they will be traveling to Katowice to play there at the Intel Extreme Masters. You guys are there and we see there your group, of course. G2 is in that one, so we'll see that, but also the Flash Wolves and Kondu.
I think Group B is actually the hardest group here. It's always hard coming into these kind of tournaments to fully predict how well teams are going to perform. But Group A right now, like Rocks Tigers are not looking very strong over in Korea. M19, yes, they had the miracle run at Worlds, but a lot of that was based on BU1s, and you very quickly go into BU3s here. And EDG, I don't think the LPL is very strong at the moment, and also they're still playing on patch 7.1. So I think there's actually a lot of problems in Group A for these teams, where you guys, it's a pretty tough competition.
Just for people that would know, Albus Nox Luna, now MI19.
Yeah, Albus Nox Luna is obviously now M19, so.
Yeah, I think just for us facing off against Kongdu Monsters, I didn't see too much. I think they're like last seeded. Or
they just won a series.
They just managed to win a series against Africa.
Okay.
But they're still pretty low.
They're coming for you guys.
Okay. No, but I think we started caring less about actually who we're facing because it just gives you kind of an understanding of what kind of chances you have to actually come out ahead. Because actually, your performance kind of determines how high the chances are that you're actually winning, and then the other team, you don't actually, you can't actually expect what they are going to deliver. So if the team is worse, then our chances are just higher. But in this case, I think Kongdu Monsters, I didn't see too much of them. I'm just really hyped to have like more international competition for us because I think like different regions have just different play styles and prioritizations. I think just from what I saw like in the other regions, they're picking up like different picks than us with Kog'Maw and Brent support and stuff like this. So yeah.
What is their huge value in going to this tournament for Unicorns of Love? Is it based around more practice? Is it exposure for sponsors or whatever? Like, or is it everything combined? Because like going to these kind of tournaments is something certain teams have declined while other teams are really excited to go.
I think it's always beneficial because it takes the team in another environment than your gaming house. You know, it's like a couple. It's like a relationship. If you're always going back home every evening the same, it can be a bit boring after a while. So when you take your lady to dinner or something like this, that's going to be really nice. You create memories together, and you create history, you create experience. And actually, that was the goal for us to go to Auckland. The main idea was just to go on a trip all together, and that was fun. We took a plane, we went to the hostel, you eat together, and you actually discover your teammates, which is something you sometimes forget to do when you are living all together in a gaming house. So from a pure management perspective, because the in-game is cheapy, I'm actually really looking forward for Katowice, because we're going to travel together, and that's going to be fun. And we're actually leaving on Monday, taking a bus with the whole G2 team, with the whole H2K team. It's like a school trip. We all go together in the bus. I don't know what's going to happen. We're probably going to just sleep. But yeah, we're going to have video. We have Wi-Fi, I heard, in the bus. So
2017.
Stay connected for Monday. But it's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward for it.
Well, there we have our answer. I love the analogy you made there with the relationship, and it's going to be very interesting. And there's strength in numbers, 3 European teams. So if one doesn't come back with the prize, what are we going to do?
If we did not get at least 2 European teams in the semifinals and one of them in the final, such a huge disappointment for Europe.
Yeah, and I mean, this is a very important thing for G2, obviously, but in general for the European region, and any region attending there, you want to get international success. And now for Europe, H2K had a fantastic run at Worlds. You guys won Oakland, but is there more promise this year, you think, Romain?
Yes.
And what will it come down to?
Yes, I don't know yet, no spoiler, but I feel like Europe is starting to grow its own style, and I expect us to be more and more dominant on the international scene. It might be us, it might be G2, it might be H2K. I don't know who's going to make it, but someone's going to pull it out.
Chippy, are you going to win?
Yes. I mean,
first you got to beat G2.
It's very hard to say at this point. I mean, even if we're winning against Kongnu Monsters, we're going to face Flash Wolves, who we played 2-3 in Oakland.
Yep.
And then there's also G2, who we just lost to 2-0. So, I mean, it's really difficult to call it at this point. However, I think that right now we're at the point where even if you just change one pick of the pick and ban phase, or you have like one thing that's a little bit different or one kill different in the early game, any team can take a game off another team. And I'm just really looking forward. I think the games will be exciting. And I think also that all the teams, because it's international competition, and we don't have that all the time, will prepare a lot for that to get the title.
And it's great. We're also sending our 3 strongest teams now in the league so far.
It's pretty good for Europe.
It's pretty good for Europe. They have a big chance, and we'll see a lot of interesting talent. And you guys, of course, have a full European lineup now once again, and you have some very strong opinions on why you think that is an important thing.
Yeah, so we recently had this meeting with all the managers from all the team, and we were discussing roster changes, scouting, stuff like this. And we realized there are actually quite a lot of Korean people, Korean players in Europe. And it worked really great for some team, it kind of failed for other teams. So I thought a bit about it, and I think that would be great if Europe could stop hiring Korean players for the sake of hiring Korean players. Because I see a lot of downside, and I think we would be more efficient growing up and nurturing our own talent. So I pushed a bit of reflection, and I actually have 3 main reasons why we should stop hiring Koreans and why we should start hiring European people.
All right.
The first one is Koreans are bad for business. Why? Because when you go to sponsors, you actually have to sell your team, you have to sell reach, you have to sell marketing and to local countries. So obviously, if you go to, let's call a German brand, MediaMarkt, that's going to be way more efficient to have 5 Germans in your team than 5 Koreans, because MediaMarkt is going to be interested to reach the German population. So, first point is, Koreans are not really good for business.
Well, let's discuss it to start, because we have counter-arguments, of course, and I think it all comes down to, correct me if I'm wrong, but how you nurture them as a team in general, and that goes for every nationality. And of course, Huni and Reignover is the big shining example, but also G2.
I mean, let's remember that right now we have Misfits, Unicorns of Love, H2K, and G2 as the 4 best teams in Europe. 3 of those teams have 2 Koreans on the roster. Some of them even have Korean coaches as well, like H2K. In terms of like the whole sponsor thing, like I understand the idea behind that. However, I think for a lot of these teams, if they trust that they're actually importing really strong players, those players will push them towards success, and the success will then in turn get them more sponsorships. Like getting Trick for G2 has been a huge, fantastic investment, because he's gotten 2-time MVP. They've won 2 splits, and I'm sure in terms of sponsorships, that has been great for G2 esports over the fact they didn't have, let's say, a German jungler who could fit into the German market. So I guess in that case, there are like a lot of counter arguments for very successful Koreans, but I do agree with the point of don't just import Koreans to import Koreans, like actually make sure the scouting is done properly and your team knows how to handle it.
That's the important thing, and the proof is in the pudding here, something we see on stage right now. Obviously for OG it hasn't turned out that well for now, for G2 it has as a counter argument.
Yeah, but I totally agree, but it could have been a better success story if Trick was from one of the European countries. That would have been easier to sell and to create.
But no jungler was as good as him.
Yeah,
that's true, and they took amazing care of it, which leads to my second point. Why is it always a bit tricky to import Koreans? Is how do you integrate them into your team? Because LCS is a marathon. LCS is 3 months, twice in a year, and it takes a lot of time. You have to wake up, you have to go to work, you have to eat, you have to train with the same guys on a daily basis. And when someone is not from the same culture as you, it's sometimes hard. Some teams did an amazing job to integrate those players. For some team, it was a bit harder. So, and it's not even from the team perspective, it's also from the players themselves. They might feel so lost because they are so far away from their own country. They don't speak really well English, and it's sometimes really, really hard. So that was kind of the second point. It's hard to integrate.
I know you breathe away from the team, and of course it's true that it's some players, and it might not just be Korean players. It's any player who's away from home and has troubles with that. But I do think it comes back to the team, though, because that's where it has to flourish. That's where, you know, if English is a priority, that has to come in, and I also think it goes beyond just cultural differences. For instance, Capsule Fnatic, the heralded mid laner who had some problems with overstepping the boundaries in terms of toxicity, this and that. This is also something that as a team you have to own up to and work with. So I think a lot of it comes down to organizational structure and having the people in place to work with them.
Yeah, but however, I think what Romain is saying is that the less problems you have going into a team and the less things are on the mind of a player that can kind of sidetrack him, and that is like stopping the development is actually better. So I think his point is more like if you can choose somebody who's already acclimated to what we eat, how we wake up, what our schedule is, what kind of procedures and inter-social things we have apart from the English as well. I mean, English as well. If you have to spend a lot of time learning something besides that, especially with all the pressure that you're getting in a different environment with people you don't know so well, I think that's like a fair point. It's same for the business. I think obviously success trumps everything. But I mean, also if you take the consideration of who you should choose, if you're just looking for success, obviously if you have a Korean player that you can 100% trust is really good, then it's amazing. But it's very hard to test
But
because
so much comes down to scouting, though.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so often a story of like, do you have two players here? Do you have Sheepy or do you have me as a Korean right now? And if we're equally good, then it's probably easier to pick up Sheepy.
And it's really hard because, I mean, we're speaking a little bit of our, I think this is why he also brings it up, because we're speaking a little bit of our own experience as well.
Yeah.
And if you have somebody from Korea who seems to be extremely good and is high in the challenger and whatnot, it's actually very, very difficult to have any kind of testing with them, where in Europe, if you're looking for somebody, you can easily set up for something to actually try them out. So that's actually a huge benefit.
Well, some teams have gone to Korea in the off seasons and they started practicing with them. I know Vitality did it. Obviously, some of the imports have not been super successful, but Misfits was spending a lot of time in Korea when they were testing Kakao, who's been a fantastic player, you know, coming into this lineup, who's doing great in terms of fitting in with the team and also individual play. So as long as teams are, like, that's kind of the big thing.
The bottom line, yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, like, your team needs to be ready for this huge, huge investment. Like, it is not just, as you said, pick up a player and plug him into the gaming house and then it's going to work. It's like, go to Korea, scout properly, have an English coach, right, the English teacher and everything, like all these things. It's a big investment, obviously.
And a possible very big payout.
That's exactly it, I think. The scouting part, that's what Chippy was saying. It's way easier to integrate something in your team if you already knows a bit the whole environment and culture. So the point of this discussion we had was, I think Europe right now is lacking self-confidence. I think European summoners are lacking self-confidence. Why? Because when you're in Korea, if a player reached top diamond, is already in the mindset, maybe I'm the next faker. Tomorrow I can be a pro gamer. In Europe, you can find some of our challenger players are still trolling a bit, and they do not think, tomorrow I can be the next faker.
Or they want to be, but they're not prepared to put in the work.
Or they are not getting ready enough, meaning technically, even if I think our server is bigger than the Korean server. So on the paper, we have more players. So we should have more good players available, which is not the case at the moment, because I think our top players are not taking the game seriously. And that was a bit the conclusion of this whole talk. More than we should stop hiring Koreans, we should hire people which fits exactly in our teams. And I believe people from the same environment works better together. Splyce is a really good example of that, for example. This team staying together for so long.
Yeah, work ethic is definitely also just something that has been a point of contention for a couple of years now. Obviously, Koreans have a very, very serious approach to work ethic and how they put in practice.
It's always been one of the main praises whenever I've talked to coaches who have dealt with like good Korean imports is like the discipline, the attitude to come in and just try and really like work hard, be the best is just different. Like it's just much better from the Korean side where most like, or not most, but a lot of Europeans, like they come in 17 years old. It's hard to keep full focus on just the game. There's a lot of stuff happening in a pro gamer life outside of the game as well that can distract you and everything. And suddenly, maybe they don't handle feedback very well. Maybe they don't handle the pressure on stage very well. And they suddenly can't perform properly. And that has been a problem for a lot of European guys and why some teams don't always take the chance on them.
Yeah, would you say it's also not just a problem of the people trying to get into being the professional player, but is it still a big problem, you think, on the professional level in Europe?
I think it's a problem. It's an European problem, and I actually have a call directly to Europe. Like, I would like to talk to you, summoners, currently watching us tonight. You might be 14, 15, 16, 17. Maybe you're a boy, a girl. You don't know what you are. You're playing the game, and you're good at it. I want you to believe in yourself right now and to turn yourself into a pro gamer, because you can be. It's possible. We hired some of them. We found some of them. I have 4 main rules for it. I'm only going to display 2. Because we discussed it a bit with the guy. Toxicity. Do not be toxic. Because the people you are playing with currently might be your colleague tomorrow. Don't be toxic. Play a lot of champions. Have a wide champion pool. Why? And have a little story about it. We have been, in the last years, facing recruitment. So what does it mean? We sit down around a table, Shippy, Ili, Chachi, and we're like, guys, we don't have an ADC anymore. No, okay, we need to hire someone. Do you know anyone? No. Do you know anyone? No. Let's take the challenger. Number 1, visit Chachi. Number 2, visit Chachi. Number 3, Chachi, can you stop playing elo boosting yourself, right? Number 4, Yasuo92. Does anyone know this guy? And right there, your whole career is gonna flip, yes or no. I know this guy is toxic. Bam, next. Number 6, oh, blah, blah, blah. Do you know him? He's a one-trick pony Ekarim. Well, bam, that's the end of your career. Just those 2 points, if you work on them, don't be toxic, play a lot of champions, that can tomorrow turn you into a pro gamers. And I mean, we're not saying it's gonna be easy. Like, you're gonna have to work a lot. You're gonna have to read tutorials, to watch the pro and everything. We're not saying it's gonna be easy.
This guy,
but we're saying it's gonna be beautiful. It's amazing. We have the best job in the world, literally. And we're lucky to do it. We need new blood. I do believe we are not going to beat Korea using Korean people, importing them. We are going to beat Korea using European guy.
All right, on that note...
we're not going to beat Korea.
No, or we're not going to beat Korea, probably. But I do want to thank you for your message. I hope it inspires a couple of people. And thank you for joining us on the desk here as well. Maybe we'll see a new generation of summoners that Romain Béjart told me to step up to the plate. And I did it.
Ship, it's your time, man. You can be a pro gamer.
Again.
We need his brain. We need his brain. You stay here.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much for joining us. Romain giving some very interesting insights in this edition of PGN. Tomorrow, our coverage of the EULCS Spring Split continues with Vitality versus Misfits, as well as H2K Giants. And then we still have a full day of games. On Saturday, time for us to log off for the night. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central European Time as our coverage of the EULCS continues. Gute Nacht. Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Catch. Oh, Xerxes, the damage!
I got 3 more SSS.
Xerxes coming a little bit late. A slice, a dice, an auto, and a kill! But they're safe under mid-turret, and it's a curtain call being opened up. Unicorns are going to have to get out and dodge real quick. And they're realm warped out of there. G2 playing out, cool, calm, collected, and they will take game number 1 over the Unicorns of Love.
No flash.
Nice.
Nice.
They're getting knocked up, but Hylissang is going to get a nom onto Sanix. Mithy and Sven, a double kill. They're looking for everything. They nearly get the ace. Daisy is going to be the only one left. They defend. Oh, there's a big Nord. 1 auto, 2 autos, 3. No, they just did it. Oh, are you kidding? There's one damn hit left.
Sven gets the quadra kill and stops Unicorns from ending the game. What was that? Why would you commit all 5 members to ending? Those are really long death timers, and G2 Mid, they might look to end the game.
Oh, Broxa coming in one more time. Senkuk's no cleanse, as we talked about earlier. There's the follow-up. Senkuk's gonna fall too. First blood drops. Looking for the outplay, and comes the Realm Warp. He's gonna get 1. Can he get 2? Now ported behind Senkuk's. Exhaust goes down. He wants to get it. Can he do it? Shut down from Senkuk's. Senkuk's is doomed to fall, and Fnatic are gonna move up 1-0 over Splyce in this best of 3. Broxa on the wall has a decent amount of health. Splyce look like they have the man advantage for now. Broxa taking low. Senkuk's wants to go, and he's kicked back. Oh! You can't throw a Baron if you don't do Baron, but they try it this time, and it's not looking good. Fnatic throw it all away in the pit. Broxa wants to go in, but he doesn't get anything. Finally, Senkuk's will drop, but it's the Nexus that's going to drop against Fnatic, and Splyce who are going to take it to a series.
Open up, maybe package, Jin will be something.
Oh, curtain call, that is the ultimate we're looking for. Death Sentence, is it going to connect? Does land onto Jesus, this could be good, but Trash is going to get locked down, and he's locked down under tower. The stealth doesn't mean anything. 1 auto for Reckless. Going in, charging into the front lines, looking to find something. Soaz isn't going to get anything in the end, but Mickey's going to get caught out. That's a massive pick for Fnatic.
I love seeing this punish, because this is a mistake and was completely unnecessary for Splyce.
Caps is
Caps
going in. Nice shield coming in on the Saracen Brace. Kickback. Caps knocks him down.
And it was too easy for Splyce to walk back. It was too easy for them to kite, and it's now too easy for them to take the final Nexus turret.
1 tower drops, another to fall. They're burning down Fnatic. They want the members. They want the base. They want the series. Splyce find the win.